Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here with my next The Reckoning of Roku chapter analysis video. This one's going to be for chapter 26, which is called Embers Going Grey. Once again, YouTube channel membership is enabled if you would like to help support the channel, and subscribing also helps. Otherwise, it's a pretty short chapter. It's only like 3 pages long. It's basically a Roku chapter where Roku wakes up and it's revealed that he's in Ulo's hut, and Ulo is kind of nursing him basically back to health after what happened with the heat bending gone wrong. And so we learn a few little bits and pieces, but mostly it's just like the previous chapter, a bit of an intro chapter to the idea that since Roku and Gyatso have split up, the book is going in this direction where it's Gyatso and Malaya on one side of the story, and then Roku and Ulo in the heart of the Lombok clan on another side of the story, with, of course, you know, Sozin arriving on the scene at some point as well. So yeah, Roku wakes up. It's revealed here he was dreaming about Ta Min, of course, and he is immediately given some tea. Drink this, Avatar. It will help you recover your energy more swiftly and more smoothly. And he initially thinks he's in the Air Temple. He initially thinks the person giving this to him is Abbot Rabten, but it's obviously not. He then catches up and remembers, like, oh yeah, this is what happened. I nearly, I had a fight with waterbenders and we all collapsed. And that this is when he realizes, okay, it's not the abbot, it's Ulo. And so we do get a description of him, big grey beard, long grey hair tied back in an ancient Fire Island style. He wore the same type of black, red and gold hand-woven wano loincloth and as the male waterbenders in the cavern. But he also has a Bayong blanket draped over his shoulder and a belt of cut shells around his waist, and despite his age he was lean with muscle and his gaze was sharp and assessing. So interesting stuff. And yeah, he just introduces, like, he's like, the tea works quickly but not that quickly, like, you stay down, you're going to be out of action for like a little bit here. And he explains to Roku, I'm Ulo, chief elder of the Lombok clan, the last surviving clan on this island, which you somehow found. You also somehow found your way into the sacred cave. So, interesting detail there. We find out for sure the Lombok clan is the last surviving clan on the island. Begs the question, what happened to the others in relation to the island's kind of history? Was it outsiders and the nations arriving on the island over the years and actually wiping out these other clans like the stories tell? Or is it more internal disputes between the different clans and they actually took each other out, but this is the way that the Lombok clan keeps their power? Hard to say. But he explains even further. As you experienced yourself, the site overflows with spiritual energy, which without proper training is nearly impossible for a bender to control. So I will give you the benefit of the doubt and assume you were not intentionally trying to kill our waterbenders. Roku nods, of course. They are alive but injured. They were able to bend enough moisture around themselves to cool their bodies so you didn't bake them alive. But they still got hurt because eventually that water kind of, evaporated away. But we got there in time because the fog lifted randomly and we were able to get in there and get everyone to a healer, because they have waterbender healers on the island, which of course we learn in like the first Malaya chapter. So that's a very helpful thing to have, of course. So Roku gets a few interesting pieces of confirmation here about stuff of like, okay, the waterbenders are native to this fire island. That's interesting. That yes, the cavern does allow benders to access formidable power, and that they of course want to keep it a secret. So he asked the question in his head, like, why am I alive? Why am I being kept alive? Because they don't know who I am. But then, and this is also, like, he said this already, but Roku realizes at this point, when he says this, there's much for us to discuss and we are honored to host the Avatar. And Roku goes to himself, how does he know I'm the Avatar? Because most people in the actual world don't really know that he's been officially announced as the Avatar. But now the chief of this isolated clan knows this just from meeting him this one time. Because, like, again, he used fire. He's dressed as an actual firebender. And here he is having done something using firebending. So he hasn't given away that he's the Avatar via any other means. So what's the situation here? And it obviously speaks to the idea of like, what sort of energy sensing thing is Ulo kind of done here to figure this out? I believe they acknowledge this in a future upcoming chapter to some degree, but we'll get to it, of course. So Ulo heads away. Roku kind of is groggy at this point, and yes, his eyelids closed and his consciousness dimmed like embers going grey. So there's the title drop. And again, like I said, it's just an intro chapter to the idea that Roku is in the heart of the Lombok clan with Ulo. So he's going to be fed all of the lies, I guess, about the clan to a certain degree, some truths, whereas Gyatso is going to get the more open view of the clan, of like Malaya being part of it, but being aware that there are lies involved. And that's an interesting perspective just by itself, that's the way the story is heading in. But, you know, quick one, not too much to discuss, but still interesting enough. So in the comments, let me know what your thoughts were on this chapter. Otherwise, that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.